Saying it's anti-Semitic to oppose genocide is like saying it's anti-Catholic to oppose pedophilia. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. On Sunday, Israel bombed the Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital, which listeners may remember as the hospital that Israel ferociously insisted it didn't bomb in October 2023, and accused anyone of saying otherwise of anti-Semitic blood libel. According to a statement from the Episcopal Church's Diocese of Jerusalem, this is now the 5th time this hospital has been bombed since the beginning of the Gaza onslaught. The IDF is predictably claiming that there was a Hamas base in the hospital, because that's what they always do. The hospitals are Hamas, the ambulances are Hamas, the journalists are Hamas, the UN is Hamas, the schools are Hamas, the children are Hamas, every building in Gaza is Hamas, and anyone who disputes this is also Hamas. God, this gets old. Israel in October 2023. How dare you say we bombed the Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital? We would never bomb a hospital. Israel from 2023 to 2025. Bombs all hospitals in Gaza. Israel, April 2025. We just bombed the Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital again. Saying that opposing genocide is hateful toward Jews is like saying that opposing child molestation is hateful toward Catholics. Western Zionists will be like, all this hate for Israel makes me feel anxious and unsafe. Really? Are you sure that's what you're feeling? Are you sure it's not guilt? Gut-wrenching guilt about all those dead kids in the genocide you support? Or cognitive dissonance because your entire worldview is wrong? People often say I hate Israel, but what's weird is they say it like it's a bad thing. So far, the quote-unquote president of peace has started a relentless bombing campaign in Yemen, reignited the Gaza Holocaust, and shifted more U.S. war machinery to West Asia in preparation for war with Iran, all while getting ready to announce the first-ever trillion-dollar Pentagon budget. Trump is just as awful a warmonger as Biden. If there's a war with Iran, he'll be far worse. He hasn't even gotten a Ukraine ceasefire. The Western political faction that's doing the most to help murder children in Gaza is not the "yeehaw, kill them Arabs" fanatics on the far right, but the gosh, it's so complicated, both sides hate each other, and they've been at war for millennia fence-sitting of the so-called moderate. The latter is far more destructive, because it's much more widespread and accepted in mainstream Western discourse. You can't be a good talk show liberal if you're saying you want to exterminate every living organism in Gaza. But if you hem and haw about ancient unresolvable conflicts and how complicated it all is, you can maintain your vaguely progressive-ish self-image while still encouraging everyone to allow the Western Empire to continue backing an active genocide. And it's just complete nonsense. This isn't complicated. It's exactly what it looks like. A military force backed by the most powerful empire in history is waging a campaign of extermination and ethnic cleansing to eliminate an undesirable population by raining military explosives onto a giant concentration camp full of children. There are two sides to most conflicts. There are not two sides to this one. And this isn't an ancient conflict. It's the culmination of abuses which were initiated by Western powers dropping a brand new settler colonialist ethno-state on top of a pre-existing civilization after the Second World War. There was no reason to believe the Middle East would not have joined the rest of the world in settling into a more peaceful status quo after World War II without Western imperialists forcefully inserting an artificial apartheid state into the region like a shard of glass into a foot, and then keeping it there by any amount of violence necessary. Sure, the Middle East had plenty of violence prior to the World Wars, but if you've ever read American and European history, you'll know this wasn't anything unique to the Middle East. It was the norm around the world. It wasn't until after World War II that things settled down a bit and Westerners grew accustomed to a more peaceful status quo. The only reason the Middle East wasn't allowed to join in that movement was because of aggressive Western intervention. By just shrugging and saying, yeah, the Israelis hate the Palestinians and the Palestinians hate the Israelis, who's to say who's right? This mainstream line tacitly promotes the notion that we should just let things play out as they are, rather than doing everything we can to stop an active genocide that's being backed by our own leaders. And this is the position put forward by most of the people with prominent voices in our society. They're not just not helping, they're discouraging everyone else from helping too.